Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. We are so close to the next phase where XRP finally enters face-melting price discovery. That's the last piece of this puzzle. We've got the new all-time high. We've had XRP break to the upside even recently, but now we just need that final piece. It's been years in the making, but we are going to get it. And I will tell you this, I am not seeing a lot of warnings from XRP chart analysts in the short term about XRP price dropping. In fact, only one XRP chart analyst that I follow has said that it's most probable that XRP will drop before we see a resumption to the upside. Only one of them. He was talking about XRP falling to about $2.60 briefly and then ripping ultimately above $5, so on and so forth. That's the only one. Other than that, there have been a few analysts that have said, yeah, it's possible you could see a little bit of a dip to some degree, but leaning more bullish. I haven't seen anything beyond that would cause concern in the short term. Really, I'm mostly seeing consistent optimism that, moves to the upside will resume very soon. So it's possible we could go a little bit sooner, lower a little bit sooner, than later. But even if that happens, not exactly the end of the world. But what we're seeing right now, it's frankly just more range-bound price action today. But we cannot and will not stay here forever. We're not going to be lingering in this price range forever. And as you get closer and closer to the end of the cycle, any little range you get in, they just get shorter and shorter. I've lived through, this is my third bull market in crypto, and that's how it always is. That's what's happening right now. So I'm going to share with you the latest from a ton of different chart analysts. But before going further, I do want to be clear. I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. Now, as I record this video, it is 1:14 p.m. Central Time, which is my time zone, Thursday, July 31st, 2025. XRP is $3.07. Bitcoin, $117,648. So, mostly just moving sideways over the last 24 hours. Frankly, not surprising to see this. But the best is yet ahead. Take a look at this headline from Cointelegraph. Real fun starts if XRP price ends July above $3, new analysis says. And by the way, I will point out that the monthly close occurs in just, so a little less than 5 hours. So the monthly close, it ends at 7 p.m. Central Time anyway. And so it's coming up soon. And as we're sitting here, fingers crossed, you can knock on a little wood here, we are above the previous high, which was $3.03. So if we close above that, it's a new record high close, a monthly close for XRP. So if we can just hold that a few more hours here, and you guys, a lot of you listening by now are past that, so you'll know whether or not that happened. But we are very, very close to that. And so they're sharing perspective from chart analyst eGreg Crypto. Is actually this post on your screen right here. And eGreg Crypto, who is referencing a line that he calls the chasm. It's this red line on your screen right here. And breaking above that, you can see, or even up to it, so you can see what the implications are. Getting closer, XRP closer to $11. And then on the higher end here, $32, which, not crazy. I don't know if we'll hit it, as I always say, but that's certainly within the realm of possibility. But here's what he had to say. XRP, the chasm, monthly close above $3.03. All I need in the next 19 hours is for XRP to stay above $3.03. And so, of course, he posted this early in the morning today. And he said, closing above $3.03 would mark the first ever historical candle close above this level in XRP's journey. I'd certainly love to see that. It's always fun to get new all-time highs by various metrics. This is one that matters here, especially in a bull market. He says in 19 hours, we could witness history in the making. Well, more time has passed, so now it's just several hours, but yes. He says, touching the chasm is my minimum target, but surpassing it, that's where the real fun starts. And so those are the numbers I was talking about earlier. He's got this $11 line here, and then one that's close to like $32 here. So it's going to come here. And by the way, you know what else is kind of cool? A little bit later in this article, I don't really want to read the thing. It's not necessary. But this is pretty cool. They got the screen grab from CoinRank, or CryptoRank rather. And I haven't shared data from them in a while, but sometimes it is fun to look at this. And you can see the monthly gains and losses going back to the earliest that XRP price was ever tracked, which is August of 2013. And you can see, it just happens to be the case that, for the last 5 years, XRP Julys have ended up green, and assuming this is the case here, which it most certainly will be, unless you have the most catastrophic thing on the planet happen in the next few hours, this will be the 6th straight green month, for July anyway, that there's been, and I don't mind that trend. It's fascinating. For some reason, July has been good. I'm not surprised in 2023, obviously, with XRP Victory Day, but let's not break that trend here. Here's a post from chart analyst Crypto Insight UK, and this is an ETH chart here, but here's the XRP one. And he says, monthly close today, not going to lie, Ethereum and XRP look good if we can hold here or close higher. And at the time when he posted this in the morning, XRP was $3.16, so we're a little bit lower, but who knows, maybe it'll be closer to that by the time we close if things go well. Either way, closing above that previous all-time high, which was January of this year, $3.03. Yeah, happy to see that happen. Here's a post from chart analyst Dom, and he shared this post last night. He said, earlier today, we saw a large magnitude of liquidation pressure get absorbed. Typically, when I see this scenario, it means, number one, passive buyers are willing to absorb, and we found the low of this multi-week consolidation. Or two, it's a temporary liquidity vacuum bounce, and a large structural breakdown is soon to come. And so based on that, you might be thinking, okay, so he's saying it could go up or it could go down. Which way does he lean, though? And by the way, people like to give chart analysts a hard time when they're like, this could happen or this could happen. You're like, oh, okay, so anything that's possible, that it could happen. Well, thank you, guys. But there are instances where you're like, okay, here's the data that we have. It's really not clear what is most probable. Okay, and so I don't give analysts a hard time for that. Like, I'm pretty sympathetic to that. However, he does have a leaning here, and it's actually positive. He was asked about that. And so Dom said, overall structure definitely have a bullish bias to it, along with spot premiums returning across the board and order books not looking bad. I'm leaning more towards that, just staying on toes to also capitalize on the potential larger breakdown. So he's acknowledging that could go lower here, but he's leaning towards that probably not happening. And so here's a post from chart analyst Cryptos. He does seem to have a bit of concern. This is 2 days in a row of him expressing a concern that we could be going lower. And this is a post from this morning. He says, clear XRP invalidation from daily 21 MA and the $3.14 resistance. Not looking good. And frankly, and he's an XRP bull, but that's about the most bearish post I can find. There are not a ton of bearish posts here. That and then the one from Lub Crypto, which I cited in a video yesterday where he said that he thinks XRP is going to go to $2.60. He's the only one that I'm seeing state that. And so I won't state it's impossible. I'll give him credit if he ends up being right. But usually when there's just one analyst in a sea of excellent analysts saying something, usually that thing doesn't happen. Sometimes the improbable happens. But usually if it's a group of talented analysts like the ones that I track, yeah, usually what most of them think is going to happen, that does tend to happen. Here's a post from chart analyst Hub. Not that I necessarily need to read this whole thing, but he did state at the end that he thinks XRP, it's holding up well, looking for a continuation higher. But in this chart, you can see if you're looking at the yellow line, he's acknowledging that there is a possibility it can go down. He's just not saying that he thinks that's the most probable thing. So again, this is coming from an XRP bull here. He's just mapped out a couple potential scenarios with the squiggles here, but he does see XRP getting into double-digit territory. In fact, if we start taking off from here, the line he's got charted goes closer to 19 or 20 bucks. Then there was this post from the blockchain backer. He was sharing his most recent video from this morning. Record month for XRP and Bitcoin price chart as August approaches. Major wins. Parabolic push ahead. And so if you haven't watched this video, it's excellent. This one's only a little over 10 minutes, I think. But all the confidence in the world, and he articulates so many reasons as to why the last parabola is coming in for Bitcoin. XRP is poised to ultimately take off too. The best is yet ahead. So this is what I keep seeing by and large from analysts. Like even the analysts that'll say, hey, there's a chance in the short term we go down. None of them think that the top is in for the market cycle. Literally zero of the analysts that I follow think that. And they have great track records. Nobody's perfect, but they do have great track records. I would not be fearful here. Even if we do go down a little bit in the short term. Whatever. It's not going to matter. XRP USD chart on the screen here. This is from chart analyst Galaxy. He says XRP is forming a broadening wedge while holding the $3 floor. Price discovery should resume soon. And so yet another analyst here that's remaining optimistic, including for the short term. Here's a post from chart analyst Steph is crypto. XRP bear trap is completed. The real bull market starts now. And so he's calling basically everything that's happened just about since the local top in January up until, right before XRP started taking off again this month, July. Basically, he's calling that a bear trap, which I can understand why. I mean, XRP went from its new all-time high earlier this year of $3.40 to, lost half of its freaking value, more than that actually. It dropped down to somewhere, I think, in the neighborhood of $1.60. Some people did panic sell, and then it just rocketed ultimately this year to a new all-time high, and I do not think it's done. So yeah, it's trapping the bears. All the scaredy cats that have the lettuce hands and all that crap. Too bad, so sad. XRP is not going to stop here, folks. It just isn't. Here's a post from chart analyst Ali Martinez expressing some potential optimism here. It says XRP could be forming a double bottom pattern. A close above $3.30 may confirm the breakout and open the door to $3.60. Okay, and that's right, just like a hair below the all-time high of $3.65. And if you get above there, things are going to start to get a bit nutso pretty quick because most analysts are saying even now there's pretty thin air above certain levels, including the all-time high. So we'll see here. Here's a post from chart analyst Flash. XRP, what a beauty is what he wrote here, and he's targeting in the short term $5. Not that he thinks it's going to stop there. So again, continued optimism. Here's a post from chart analyst Cryptolica, and he's been stating this for months and months and months. He's just insisting this is what's going to happen, which I respect here. He's XRP 2-week chart on the screen here, pointing XRP to $10. He's been predicting that for a long time. He is firmly in the camp of, yes, XRP's hitting double-digit price action this market cycle. Here's a post from chart analyst XR Punky. He was thinking that there is a pretty reasonable probability that XRP could hit the $5 to $8 range before July is over. It's clearly not happening at this point. But this is also why I say, I appreciate what he does, but any analyst, no matter how much I like them or how great their analysis is, anytime they do a time-specific prediction, I just get a little nervous for them because I know that no analyst can consistently predict price, even if they're really good. But here he's quite humble about it here. So he said, I was wrong about a $5 to $8 XRP in July. However, one thing great is that we should be getting the highest close in the monthly candle, up 40% in July itself. Folks, think about that. That is a big-ass jump in 1 month. 40%, and this is before alt season kicks off. Love to see it. And he says, so again, after citing that 40% up in July, which it also means August will be even more bullish. I still believe $8 to $15 is in play. I expect God candles in August. Damn it, XR Punky, with the time prediction again. Stop it. But no, I appreciate it. I'm a little fun here. But the $8 to $15 range, not crazy. And given where we are in the cycle, even though I don't think it's a good idea for any analyst to make specific time predictions, if you just say something like, okay, based on where we are and if history is to rhyme with itself, the way things are set up, it's reasonable to think we could hit so-and-so level within a time period. I can handle that. So this isn't as crazy. But if you're talking about saying it's possible to hit $8 to $15 in August, well, that is true. But if you're making a firm prediction is that stating like it's going to happen, I'm like, okay. Let's talk about what's plausible instead of putting that type of timestamp down as something that's gospel now. But yeah, $8 to $15 in August. I mean, if that's when it happens, it happens. Because that's the thing. It may sound impossible. Like, wait a minute, $15. Give it some time, Matt. Give it some time, Moon Lambo. We're only a little over $3. $15 in August. The thing is, though, folks, it does happen fast. Super fast. In 2017, XRP went from about 20 cents to its all-time high of $3.35 in 2.5 weeks. So to think you can't go from $3 to $15 in a similar time frame, well, I just think that you need to study XRP charts just a little bit more, just to have some broad understandings of, from a historical perspective, what has happened. This absolutely can occur. And I'll also mention this. Credible Crypto shared this Bitcoin chart, and he simply wrote juicy while sharing an earlier post from 3 days ago. And what's he referencing? What he is calling here to be a clean triple tap. So you can see there was a fall Bitcoin price. When was this? About the middle of July. Went back up a little bit, ultimately dropped even lower. Looks like that was probably July 24th, so not long ago, about a week ago. And then went back up, and he thinks we're going back down, perhaps as low as maybe $116-ish thousand. And so he thinks the low's already in. He thinks in all likelihood the bottom was in, and it would have been, it looks like, I think it was July 24th then. So we can go lower, but he thinks the bottom's actually in. And after that, you just consolidate sideways a little bit and then break on out of here for that final parabola. So nothing but optimism. He is not wavering on that whatsoever, nor should he. So we'll see what happens as I'm wrapping up the video here. XRP almost at $3.09. So go, go, go. Damn it, XRP. Don't be a little bitch. You can do this. I'm optimistic. I mean, you know, again, fingers crossed here. But, you know, you just got what? 4.5 hours just about. XRP's got to hold above that $3.03 level. And we are golden, folks. We shall see. But either way, the best is yet ahead. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.